I'm not sure how the fire-breathing rubber duckies came to be because, I mean that seems like a name my 3-year-old in the bath
Oh yeah.
would make, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that's funny too because she's not really a killer of any sorts.
Oh,
So it's not really those kind of names don't really strike that much fear in me.
yeah.
I
I
think,
mean,
Jason and you, Josh, as a coach there are you're not helping set the mindset for these guys. You're making them think we're all going to maybe be winners. It's participation trophy stuff.
Challenge number 4 is branding. You have researched your industries, you have created your pipeline, you have a value proposition. Now you need to put a nice, neat bow around it and tell me how you're going to brand it. Now, I have been pretty vocal on this process over the last year or two, meaning I am a huge proponent of branding your process instead of your agency. And what I mean by that is if you have John Q. Smith Insurance, you're not going to compete against Brown & Brown, USI, and all of the others in the middle market. You need to come up with a brand for your process. And you can go ahead and say powered by John Q. Smith Insurance Agency, but I want to know about the brand. And it's not just the brand itself, but how you're going to represent that value proposition for those unique industries you've identified to the people that are the general public. I'm not talking about marketing. I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about brand. What is your touch and feel? That's it. 2 weeks, people.
How do you feel about the guys that are on your team?
I feel completely, even though we're kind of we're a two-legged stool right now. We already had less people than everybody else. I feel extremely confident with the 2 people that we have. I mean, Justin Sloan is an absolute rock star. Jason Webb intimidates the hell out of me because he looks like he could come through the screen and choke you if he wanted to.
With his massive chest tattoo.
Yeah, I feel
it's always peeking out of his shirt.
I feel extreme. Yeah, when he speaks, his shirt goes. I feel extremely confident with our team. I really, really do. I think Gurley and I make a really good team because I'm a little bit kind of out there and loud and obnoxious sometimes, and Gurley's kind of like the quiet assassin. One thing that concerns me a little bit, and it may be because out of our 3 contestants we had, 3 players or whatever you want to call it, 2 of them were extremely experienced in middle market commercial, but it concerns me a little bit that we're not getting a, hey, can I get your advice on this? Or, hey, can you do this for me? As much as I would have thought.
Well, and I'm going to tell you right now, neither one of those guys are extremely experienced in middle market commercials. So if that's the bill of goods they're selling you, it's not. Okay. That's not accurate.
Yo,
what's up, man?
How you doing, dude?
Hanging on by a thread.
I think our team is solid. I think Tyrone is good, although he talks a lot.
Tyrone needs a lot of hand-holding.
He does, more than I thought he did. How's Keating?
He has COVID.
Does he?
Yeah, I gave him a pass and just said, get me challenge 3 when you can.
Because holy shit. Yeah. No wonder I haven't heard from him in a little while. Okay.
Yeah. He's been down and out. He sent me something last week and I'm like, dude, absolutely. And then I promptly forgot that he had COVID. So when he called me today for the thing, I'm like, dude, where's your challenge? He's like, I've got COVID, man. I'm like, oh crap. That's right. You told me, forget it.
I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I'll round up. Yeah, no, I have on my list today, I was going to round up our whole team. We haven't been in touch over the holidays. I'm sure everybody's kind of the same. And who else do we got? Tim Gould.
I'm talking to him next.
Okay. My concern with him as a coach is he just I keep getting the sense that he wants me to give him all the answers.
Here's my 2 cents to you, man, because I've got 7 minutes. I've got another call I got to be on at 4:00. But
Okay.
I wanted to give you feedback on challenge 3. So what I'm going to tell you is this: you need to think like you have a blank checkbook, because right now you're operating in a fictitious world. Okay. You're building a product that you could build to be very, very successful with if money wasn't an option. You just need to talk about concept and what you're going to do. And I will tell you, my initial impression is you didn't think that way when you went through this process. Okay. Because what I'm looking for in value proposition is basically what we do when we go out and meet with a prospect. So I'm talking about things like offering learning management system to reduce frequency and severity of claims by having a company like Think HR in the mix that can do that for you. How we go out and do a full-blown experience mod analysis on the front end on the workers' comp, things like that you're going to do to deliver value in the service end of that account. So I had answers all over the board. I'm going to boil yours down to the most probably rudimentary way I can. It just sounded to me like you wanted to start a podcast and bring businesses on there to highlight them and help them grow their business. And I do think that there's value in there, but you're not going to be able to build an agency off of that.
Right. And I think you're dead on. And the size of the accounts that it's a think bigger, right? I mean, much
you're going to
more.
achieve the denominations you're willing to think in, man. If you think you're going to go out and earn dollar bills, that's all you're ever going to earn. If you want to go earn $100 bills, then you have to think like you're going to earn $100 bills. Hey, look, I looked at your stuff. Everything that you have done has looked great so far. And this is the one thing I'm going to tell you, man. I am beyond proud of the fact that you're going through this for you, because as I just put in my social post, you're last but not least because you're alphabetically last. And that was just the natural way all of this stuff happened. And as a result, your posts went out today. But one of the things I said on those posts is the fact that I know how much of a stretch this is for you. This is way outside your comfort zone. And that's what you got to do.
Thank you.
What would you say about the experience thus far?
I would say it's not what I thought it would be, because I didn't know what it would be. You know what I'm saying? So I can't look at it that it's, I would say it's definitely exceeding my expectations.
But listen, man, you did a really good job on your thing. I appreciate the fact that you thought, okay, I'm going to go down this road. Maybe this isn't where I'm supposed to be. Let me go back and analyze it again. So kudos to you. I've talked to like 4 or 5 people, and yours is the best that I've seen so far. So,
well, thank you.
And to be honest with you, some of the other people I've already spoken with, I would have expected more. So some of it makes me wonder if the coaches understood what I was looking for or what, but you hit the nail on the head, man. You did it exactly the way that it needed to be done. So I have zero feedback. I feel like I'm playing wiffle ball with my kids, and you or me when I get up to bat and my son lobs one in and I just freaking take it over the fence and point at him as I run around. I mean, you're already ahead. You've probably taken the next 2 weeks off because your branding's already done.
I'm working on blogs right now, and I opened about 5 years ago a website called Cyber Insurance Shop, where I was actually going to do this as a niche. So this kicked me in the butt to take a lot of that content, that website, and just change the colors. And, so yeah, I'm just going to focus a lot on creating visual content and little pieces of information on the product offerings and the value adds. And right now I'm working to try and get a few good MSPs in my pipeline, because when I did it a while ago, the guy was promised the stars and the moon and didn't really deliver, and it was a reflection poorly on me. So,
I know, I've been there before. Trust me.
Yeah. So
they're tough to wrangle in, man. I mean, if you can get a couple of good MSPs, then you're going to have a never-ending supply of leads.
yeah,
The problem that I ran into is I can only divide my own business up so much to give it to these people, and every single one of them wants a piece of it, and
Yeah.
it's just a nightmare. So I basically made the decision that I wouldn't use any of them.
yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing now then when you're saying, hey, we found all this going on currently?
No, I'm talking about I wouldn't use any of them to provide Florida Risk with our services.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Understood.
I go in and say, hey, let's do this. I can help you grow your business. And they'll say, well, you can help us grow your business by letting us handle your managed services.
Yeah.
No, that's not the angle I was looking at.
Yeah.
So, but no, man, I really don't have any feedback at all. Everything looked great. It's exactly what I would have expected. And it's almost like we had a couple conference calls around this topic before. So
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think you're there, dude. Now, when David asked you to do this, what are you using the brand for? Is this what you're using as a brand to advertise, or are you going to use this going into the office as a tool?
Now, are you branding yourself?
Yeah,
Are
I
you going to
probably
brand your?
not use it to advertise. The way I would use this in my own personal process is I've got the first meeting. I've asked some questions of, I've already, like you said, thrown the agent under the bus without actually, throwing them under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, okay, let me show you how we approach this. We've talked about your low dollar indemnity claims. I've already identified that exposure that we can fix
Okay.
by implementing.
Yep. I see where you're doing this. So you're
Yep.
coming in, shock and awe for that 15 minutes. And then it's, okay, you're listening to me now. Okay, I got you. You're not coming in with this and saying, okay, well, this. You're saying shock and awe, and then this is our plan. I like that.
Correct. Okay.
I like that. Would you really do this if you were inside of an office?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes, you would. Yes, you
I may
would.
not-
The answer is yes.
Yes.
So you would do this. So then that's what you want to do, because the best thing about this is that if you do outlay this to David, give him the 5 or 7 little minute video that does this,
Less
he's
than
probably
5.
going to tell you he's going to probably tell you a lot of things that you're doing wrong. And that would be awesome. Right. Cause I'd be like, oh shit, well, now you're fixing me. But I think that's what he's expecting. Don't you think? So
Well,
Josh?
yeah, I think he also wants to know, how are you going to brand yourself,
Right.
separate from the agency? I think he was getting towards some of the personal branding. I don't know, maybe I misunderstood what he was saying in the video, but I think he was also asking about, like, what is the feel of you? And, you can tie it in. You can ask him.
Yeah, I know, but he's busy, so I didn't want to. Real quick, I got to get off this phone and I got to go, but I need this is kind of cheating because we kind of have the master right here. But when he's trying to do his branding, Derek he
Tell him he took that right from Scott Addis's Beyond Insurance Group slide deck. I've seen that slide a million times.
he said you took that from Scott Addis's slide deck or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like I told you, I've seen a ton of those too. Huh? Are you right? Is that Scott Addis?
That's correct.
Yeah, it is.
I need to read what was on it. I can tell.
A lot of people have the same thing. But anyways, when he's talking about in your challenge with branding, was that more of a personal branding of what he does, or is that more of an agency branding or
That's
mix?
interesting, Jason. I dropped the blog this morning titled
Okay.
5 Tools Every Producer Should Have.
Okay, that's
In
enough
that,
then.
I discussed
Did you hear him?
my thoughts on
5
branding
tools.
and personal brand relative to the agency.
He said he dropped a blog this morning that had to do with all of those tools, and it's the 5 things. And then he talks about the agency brand versus the personal brand, you said?
Yeah, and I also have a blog posted on brand your process, not your agency.
Brand your process, not your agency.
Perfect.
So that tells me that you're probably pretty close to what you're doing here, Derek. You read that blog.
Will do. I
Yeah,
can-
maybe
I
go
will
on,
not-
Correct answer.
maybe go on Fiverr and get someone to.
He said the correct answers both.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe go on Fiverr and get someone to redo this for you just slightly. Maybe change up the
All right.
colors.
I can come up with something.
Okay.
And change the words. Go to Ansay and Associates because they have one just like it, right? You can pick a little bit of theirs in
Oh.
there and put them together, and it's the new thing.
Well, when you said Beyond Insurance, I was like, okay, yeah, you did Scott Addis, and David knows stuff from Scott, and so yeah.
I
Right.
didn't have a clue. Guys, I have to get off this phone
All
because
right.
I have to go with this
Cool.
with my wife somewhere. I apologize, but I do. Okay.
No
Baby.
problem.
Thanks,
Maybe.
man.
All right.
Our new thing is like the one. It's blue, orange, purple, and then
Gotcha.
and that's kind of like our
where we've been trying to hit on heavier this last couple of years is one SCM as a brand. Because, you know, if we write your benefits, we want to get you in to write your commercial lines. And then we want our personalized people to write all your C-suite,
Yep.
you know, exec.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's, I think from a branding perspective, that's kind of like where we're headed more than just SCM like it used to be, like when we hand out stuff. We don't have a YouTube. We have like an Instagram account, I know, but it's not like, you know, I don't know who is running it or who is running it.
Yeah.
But it's like every couple of months they'll post something on it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt that the larger agencies can definitely utilize, I mean, with so many commercial, it's like almost at least once a week, you guys can feature, you know, a client on there and then talk about, you know, what some of your personal lines clients are doing to benefit the community, different things like that. So
yeah, the more that I learned from like all you guys and seeing on podcasts and stuff, for sure, like I'm like, damn, like we could have something, you know, once a week, once a month even.
Oh yeah.
Because like when I think about, you know, Aon and March and stuff, I don't think same thing. They're not really pushing like videos or anything, content, you know, once a week. And we're big enough with those guys, but we're still small enough or at least compact enough that we can have control over that.
Exactly.
You know, it's not someone in our Chicago office that runs, you know, a nation, you know, the content for the nation. You know, we're 3 offices, like we can figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could have three people run that whole thing.
Yeah.
Thousands of brands every day are attempting to gain real estate in our mind. Whether it's a billboard or clicking through the latest search on Google, or whether it's jogging down the street, brands are competing for that landscape in our mind. What is a brand? A brand is more than just your logo or a flyer or a mailer you put out or your color scheme or maybe what you paint on the side of a building. A brand is your vision. It's your values you're bringing to your client. It's your story you're telling. And this Challenge 4 has been an incredible opportunity for me to step back and see the bigger vision. I'm a big vision thinker. So at the beginning of this challenge, I immediately thought about world domination and how I was going to work backwards from there. So that's just the way my mind thinks. And thinking backwards to the cargo ships gathering that equipment, those leads, the brand recognition, back to the motherships, which lead back to the empire, which led to the idea of commercial risk advisors. Now, I thought about the commercial risk advisors and I thought, oh, surely that is taken. Surely that's out there. It's out there, but the domain was available. And guess what? In today's world, if the domain is available, that is gold. And so, Challenge 4 submission, the empire to build upon as we move forward is commercial risk advisors. I'm excited to see how the motherships bring the cargo ships in and how leads are gathered and how, most importantly, how value is delivered and how the story is told when it comes to serving our clients. All right, so check it out. Commercial risk advisors. This is the high profile view of the high 5 services that commercial risk advisors provides. 1, a total risk profile analysis. 2, you have access to the commercial risk advisors risk resources library. This is a rich resources library that's full of content and information to help you mitigate your risk. 3, compliance tracking. 4, real-time workers' compensation monitoring and reporting. And number 5, possibly the biggest value is claims reporting, management, and reduction. How we're going to help you manage your claims. We're going to walk along beside you every step of the way. So these are the 5 services, the high 5 that Commercial Risk Advisors is providing.
Once again, Brady has absolutely nailed it. This guy 100% gets branding. I have to tell you, you don't get to see everything that I get to see because these episodes would be like 5 or 6 hours long if that were the case. But his video that he submitted that we ended up chopping up and making a part of this episode was absolutely perfect. He was spot on. He understands branding. He understands building a brand, and he's already begun building lead generation sources that are sort of sub-brands that are going to feed back into the mothership. He calls it the empire. And you know what? He is, again, 100% on the money. But what I like about Brady, in addition to the quality of his video and his obvious passion for marketing, branding, and the creative side of him, which quite frankly caught me by surprise, wouldn't expect that from an ex-cop, right? His ability to succinctly say what it is that he's trying to accomplish. And if you look at this document, that's exactly what he's done. He has laid the entire plan out in basically 2 pages. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. Then, from a client-facing perspective, here's his marketing piece, which again is 100% spot on. Brady, well done, man. I really hope you can sell because your marketing game is on point and you're going to have the leads.
In order for Derek Hayden to differentiate himself within the marketplace, we have developed the Risk Lock process powered by Danzig and Shelbyville Insurance. Now, the Risk Lock process is a 4-step process that is designed to identify, eliminate, or reduce risks within an organization. This illustration gives you an idea of what the Risk Lock process is all about. So you can see step 1 is all about identifying those underlying issues. Step 2 is creating solutions to reduce those issues. Step 3 is implementing those solutions to the team. And step 4 is monitoring the success of the plan. So imagine if a doctor did what most insurance agents do. If you walked into the doctor's office and your physician sits you down and says, "Hey, Derek, I tell you what, I think I can get you a cheaper prescription." That's what most insurance agents do when they're going out trying to solicit quotes for business owners. So we completely eliminate the quote process. In order for us to differentiate ourselves, we've got to brand ourselves with this process. For me, it is the Risk Lock process powered by Danzig and Shelbyville Insurance. That will help me differentiate myself when they are comparing me to their current broker and all the other brokers that have sat in front of them to talk about their insurance. And it's going to help me win business in the middle market.
He's back. Who said tough love doesn't breed results? I mean, come on, people. Hayden blew it last week. He'd be the first person to tell you that. But the thing is, it goes back to that Midwestern grit. I knew that if I told Derek straight up that I was disappointed in him and that he didn't deliver, he was going to come back guns blazing. He took this challenge and he took every page legitimately out of my playbook, and I couldn't be prouder of him. I'm not taking credit for it before I start getting hate mail over all of this. I'm just saying if I were to do this process, it literally would be about identical to what Derek has done. He's branded his process in a clear and concise manner in a way that he can easily go out and articulate that to prospects and set the expectations as to what they're going to get once they become a client. Not only did he come up with a great graphic, he came up with a great name, Risk Lock, a great logo, and now he's also put it on a single sheet that very clearly defines exactly what he's going to do. You may want to pause it right here and just read this because this is a step-by-step plan that you can use to do this in your agency. What Derek did this week is redeem himself, and that's why I love this guy. Way to go, Derek. Great job.
Hey there, it's Jason Webb with Minnesota Risk Partners. Challenge number 4 for the Protege. And it's regarding branding. How do I want to brand my process? And what the brand is, how I'm going to do it. So I don't know. For some reason, I had a hard time with this one, and I Googled and watched videos on what branding really is and isn't, and so on. And the more I watched, the more confused I got. So I don't know. Let's go with this. The brand that I want to portray or get out there is that of a professional advisor, an expert in work comp insurance, providing processes that get results, and it's managed by people who have integrity, who are hardworking, and do what they say they're going to do. One thing that I've heard from somebody in the past is that I really like is that we're not here to sell you anything. We're simply here to fix problems. And to get this image across as being a advisor rather than a salesperson, I have to do things that I feel like experts in their field do. So to be seen as an expert, I need to do things that experts do. And so I'm thinking to get my brand out there, do things like weekly vlogs on social media regarding work comp and risk management, things of value, and join associations specific to my niche, contractors and manufacturers, become active within those associations, write papers, articles, maybe become members of boards and so on, and conduct webinars, podcasts, interviews. All those things I think put you in a light of credibility and or is what experts would do. So there you have it regarding branding. Challenge 4. Thanks.
So here's a new one for me, a loom inside of a loom. Jason Webb is the loom master. This guy will put out more loom videos than anybody you know. That being said, I really think I'm seeing a pattern begin here with Jason, and it is going to cause paralysis by analysis. This guy is beginning to overthink literally every single challenge. Now, let's talk about the positives first. The actual steps he's talking about taking to get his brand out there are 100% on point. They're right. The problem is I don't know what his brand is, right? And so I know that Minnesota Risk Partners is the overarching brand of his agency, but specifically I wanted him to brand the process that he is going to use in his vertical markets that he has identified. So if you look at what Brady has, it was the high five, and then he showed you the assets that he created a nice marketing slick from that to brand the process he's going to use. Derek Hayden, same thing, came up with Risk Lock, did exactly what I wanted him to do. Where I'm concerned for Jason is he doesn't have a brand. He hasn't told me what it is. So for an example, at Florida Risk Partners, one of my specialties is in cyber liability. We have Cyber Chevron, the badge of protection powered by Florida Risk Partners. I don't represent that as Florida Risk Partners out in the marketplace because that's not necessarily going to immediately have people think that I'm an expert in cyber liability. I go out and I represent it in the marketplace as Cyber Chevron, the badge of protection, and we have a very clear process around that. We are very, very clear that we know cyber, we understand cyber. Here are the things we're going to do for you. This is what you're going to get from me that you're not going to get from anybody else. And as a result, the prospect ends up doing business with us. That's what I was looking for from Jason, specific to what he's going to do as the work comp expert. I guess we could say that the brand is the quote unquote your comp expert or your work comp expert, but I just need a little more meat. I think he's going to be safe because he's done enough to talk about what he'll do to get it out there. But he really, if he's going to use this in the real world, he needs to tighten it up.
Let's face it, insurance is changing. There are tons of insurance agents out there in the marketplace. How are you going to maneuver and be on top when it comes to being first in mind for people that need a specific problem solved? And that's kind of where we're going to focus on this brand. areas. So we're going to market this brand, going to be social media, putting out blog posts, YouTube videos, networking, things like that, and helping identify needs for the marketplace, for the areas that I'm going to target, and then solve those problems. Let's think of insurance as an egg. Well, you can go to the store and buy a dozen of eggs for $2. So why would anybody pay $7 or $9 for an egg? Think of insurance as the egg, going to Denny's and getting everything that goes with that egg, the salt, the pepper, the bacon, the hash browns, the toast. Those are all the marketing strategies, the things that how we're going to help a business owner so they understand all their areas of risk for their business. So some key points of differentiation that I'm going to focus on as far as some of my branding are going to be conducting risk surveys for my clients, future ideal clients, conducting and creating a business continuity plan, cyber liability, working with controlling the mod by conducting a mod analysis and working with the workers' compensation more in depth, and just really trying to help the business owner manage their total cost of risk. So these are going to be the key areas that I'm going to focus on and work and develop to offer value to my future clients as well as my current client base, and just putting myself ahead of the pack when it comes to insurance agents and marketing my brand out to help people in the area.
I'm seeing a theme, and I'm also seeing that I'm saying that an awful lot the last couple of weeks, but Joseph is in exactly the same boat that Jason Webb is. He's telling me what he's going to do or how he's going to do it, but he's not telling me what the brand is. Now, I happen to know that Joseph works for a bank-owned agency, and he may not have as much flexibility as others just due to how bank-owned agencies operate. But that being said, for the Protege, he could have still used some creativity and come up with an actual brand. What is your process? Don't tell me, what the process is. Don't tell me what it should express. Just show it to me. And that's really what I'm missing from Joseph's presentation this week. Right now, we've seen a few different people, and I would tell you that the cream is rising to the top in this week's challenge. Certainly, Derek and Brady have absolutely nailed it. Jason and Joseph really haven't. They may be safe, but I still want more from them, and they really need to go back and fix this because this is something that will be very beneficial for them in the real world. So I really hope when this episode airs that Joseph looks at it, goes back, sees what his competitors put together, and then uses that to create the brand that he needs to survive in the middle marketplace.
We have a strong understanding at BSP Insurance of cyber liability and tech E&O exposures. We have a very speed and very unique process that we deliver our content to clients via a video. And I spoke a bunch of times on various podcasts about this, that we do send our clients custom video proposals with our proposal, kind of going through what we're offering and, finding gaps in coverage and things of that nature on their current product.
Once again, Justin Sloan delivers. His branding is on point, and I love the fact that he has branded himself as a cyber breach coach. I think it's an interesting twist in an area where that's actually something that's needed, and there's not any real question about what it is that he's trying to do. Again, Justin was way out in front in the first 4 challenges because you didn't see this as the audience, but I did. This was all in the very first submission. I mean, this dude submitted like 20 or 30 minutes worth of video for challenge number 1 that honestly answered the first 4 challenges. So it's been kind of interesting to go back and put all of that together, but it just shows that he's seasoned enough in his career that he can know where things are supposed to head and then execute on that. I think Justin did a great job this week. He's pretty much done a great job every week. Like Brady, I want to see if he can close, but I know enough about this guy to know he has that New England edge to him, and he's definitely going to bring it home. So, Justin, great job. Couldn't be happier for you. You nailed it, my friend.
So we're talking on the branding and value proposition of creating kinetic at risk. Kinetic at risk is going to be about connections. How do I connect your business? How do I connect people to make things better and things happen? So,
Mr. Keating, welcome back to the game, my friend. You're back in my good graces. Again, Ryan has taken the time to break this down. Now, some of you may look at this and say Connecticut Risk, how's that a brand? Well, it's a brand because it's not the Keating agency, and that's where Ryan really works. So the fact that he is going to separate his middle market commercial practice and brand that as Connecticut Risk, maybe powered by the Keating agency, is 100% on point in exactly what I was looking for. Really, the only thing that I would want to see from Ryan that I didn't, and I know I'm being nitpicky here, but again, Ryan's somebody that has the ability to win this whole thing, and if I let up on him, then I'm going to feel like I did him a disservice. I would like to see some graphics. I'd like to see a logo. I'd like to see something I can touch and feel that lets me understand Connecticut Risk visually as opposed to everything just laid out in this Word document. That being said, he did a great job in his Word document and made it very easy for me to know where he was headed, what he's going to do, and overall, really good job, Ryan. You're on point again this week, and I'm glad to have you back. Now, in all seriousness and full disclosure, I found out after the fact that last week's challenge was when Ryan had COVID, and I was pretty hard on him. So kudos for pushing through it. Your work product still sucked, but I understand why at this point. So you got a free pass. You made it to this week. You've redeemed yourself, and all is well in the world. Great job with Connecticut Risk. I'm looking forward to see your logo, branding, website, and all of that when it officially launches.
So today we're going to talk about branding. This is an area in the competition that I think I definitely have an upper hand compared to other competitors. As you can see, Sullivan Curtis Monroe, just visually, we have a brand. Not even talking about what we actually do or getting into our value proposition or anything like that. Just visually, our brand is something that we take a lot of pride in. You can see blue and white, navy white is kind of our go-to on anything we produce, pens, notebooks, business cards, anything like that. Very clean, very simple. And very just strong. When you see three letters like that, it kind of almost makes you think of like a law firm. But it's a very sophisticated brand, and it should be. It's been around for a long time. I think about 40 or 50 years now. Digging deeper into our brand, though, what we're known for is being quote unquote big enough to compete with the Aons and the Marshes and the Gallaghers, being big enough to get the markets, any type of market that they can get, we can get, but yet it still at the same time being small enough to care and be hands-on, the type of close-knit and hands-on service you probably would get from a mom and pop, but with the resources of a big player, international.
So with Robert, he talked about a brand. He talked about all the reasons why it's powerful, it's strong, it's recognizable, and all of that. So he told me that he understands exactly what a brand should be. And in fact, he started out his comments with he felt like he had a leg up on his competition in the branding portion of this, except for one thing. He completely missed branding his process, which is what the assignment was. I needed Robert to brand the process that he has created, brand the process he's going to use in each of those vertical markets that he created in the Protege. Now, those processes can be powered by SCM, which is already an extremely powerful brand, but to go out and market that, he needs to brand that process and give himself credibility as an expert in that specific vertical market. He completely missed that on this challenge, and it's really kind of disappointing because I feel like Robert had the opportunity to really shine through. I mean, he said it himself. Unfortunately, I just don't feel like he delivered at the level that I would have wanted to see from him, and as a result, he may have put himself at risk this week. Hopefully, his explanation of understanding will be enough to get him through, but I am worried for Robert. Seriously this time.
where we're talking about branding, and had a little bit of a misstep with the last challenge when we were talking about value add, and I think I zagged when I definitely should have zigged. To go back a little bit real quick, and then to come to that branding and how that operates. When we're talking about value added services, we're talking about having driver safety training modules that are there and matrices for them to utilize for business owners and their employees that are driving any of those vehicles, especially we're talking about service contractors, any type of written informal safety programs, as well as we're talking about technology companies and anything safety related for them doing at home work. So I think, as well as any type of vehicle that's being involved, having a GPS monitoring system available to them to be able to track their employees and their jobs. So we're talking about speed and safety as well, so they are where they're supposed to be and where they're saying they're supposed to be. Any type of employee safety manuals for the specific class of business to be able to operate, and having those written safety programs like I had mentioned, as well with the return to work programs that are all in place and light duty positions that are available based upon those operations, loss control integrations with those specific carriers that are involved in the program that we've selected for them, and doing your workers' comp annual mod audit and your 6-month preliminary mod, so we're able to help them forecast for the next 18 months of any costs that could potentially be increasing or decreasing, and achieving their lowest possible mod that's available, and then putting a plan together for them. Having said all of those things, those are put in place for the brand that we're creating inside the Tim Gould Insurance Agency, which is the Buckhead Risk Solutions. It's the location that we're in. It's a very affluent market that we're in. The brand that we're going to use with the Buckhead Risk Solutions is your partners in protection, because we can't provide the value add without your help, and you can't achieve what you are trying to achieve in running your business safely and effectively without a partner like us that's able to provide these resources at no additional cost to what you are already going to be paying for that program that we've decided to go for.
One of the things I like about Tim Gould is the fact that he is willing to take criticism, however harsh it may be, and then adapt and learn from it. And he certainly dropped the ball in last week's challenge, but he self-admitted that this week, and he did the necessary things he needed to do to redeem himself. But, and I'm going to give you a big but, similar to Ryan Keating, what I really would have liked to see from Tim is give me a touch and a feel, man. Let me see exactly what that brand is going to look like. How's it feel? What do I think when I first see something regarding your brand? That's what I want to know. Give me a logo. Let me see your colors. Tell me what that logo means or stands for. Talk to me about the significance. Are there any colors? So people don't know this, right? A lot of people that look at the Florida Risk Partners logo, they look at it and they think, what the heck is he doing with like a city over a yellow circle with a backwards Nike swoosh? Well, here's the deal. My colors are yellow and blue because I'm in Florida, and it stands for the sunshine and the water. And hopefully I get to enjoy plenty of both when I run a successful agency and then exit and can live the rest of my life in Key West. But the swoosh that goes through is not a swoosh. It's actually a paper airplane that is flying through between the sun and the city. And that's part of the launch video that we had when Florida Risk actually became a thing. And the city represents that we're looking at bigger companies, not a strip mall or a Main Street storefront. So I can tell a story behind that. I can talk to somebody about my logo. I can talk to them about my brand. I can talk to them about Florida Risk Partners, not Florida Insurance. I can talk to them about partnership redefined. And in fact, if you go to my website, I explain what partnership redefined means. Those are the things I'm looking for. That's what I want to see from these contestants. I'm not saying this to throw off on Tim. I think he did a good job, and he basically talked about what his brand is going to be. Buckhead Risk Solutions, your partners in protection. Buckhead Risk Solutions, powered by Tim Gould Insurance, is 100% on the right path. I just wanted something I could touch and feel. And you know what? Tim took his caricature cartoon off of here that's been on here before. Maybe that's why I'm feeling a little grumpy about not having any kind of an image.
This week's challenge, challenge 4, is about branding. Not branding my agency, but branding me and what I bring to the table and what your experience will be like with me. So, for many years, I was a captive at a Fortune 500 company, and they did a lot of that branding thing for me. You know, they had all these slogans and names and everything like that. And what I've learned in this Protege competition is kind of like looking at things at a different level, like not one-dimensional, not two-dimensional, not three-dimensional, but kind of like four-dimensional, seeing zeros and ones. And what I realized is that they did such effective branding that it actually became a invisible prison, if you will. The way that the middle market will come to know me in my process, are you ready? Drum roll. Is going to be Central Florida Strategic Risk Management, powered by Great Florida Insurance Plant City. I will be branding the way that I think, and I'm going to apply some technology. I'm going to use Think HR, and I'm going to allow the clients to help them navigate compliance, safety, and people situations. As I came up with this branding, I came up with some steps. Is analyze is number one. Analyzing the current company, the current situation with them. Informing them. What can we do different? What has you in this particular situation? The broker of record. I don't work for free. And while it's cool to give you a lot of free stuff up front and kind of give you some information that you might not have been aware of, that broker of record says that at the end of what I'm giving you, I'm the new agent and the old regime is out. And the last one is actually perform. Do what you say you're going to do.
Tyrone did a good job, but he's right with where Brian Keating is and where Tim Gould is. He gets the idea, right? He says that he's going to name himself in the middle market as Central Florida Strategic Risk Management, powered by Great Florida Insurance of Plant City. Now, yes, the thought process is correct. So kudos to Tyrone for pushing through and getting to that point. Then he went into more of what I'd like to have seen on the value proposition, to be honest, as opposed to a branding piece. And maybe that was in an effort to redeem himself from last week. But what I'm concerned about is a couple of things. Number one, no touch and feel, which is the same thing I've said about several people. That seems to be the number one thing that's dividing the people that I feel are the front runners in this piece and the ones who aren't. But the other thing is, if I were being a critic of the actual brand he's come up with, I don't know how you're going to make a logo around that or print that on anything. I mean, that is flipping long. So let's shorten that down and make it something that's, number one, going to be recognizable, number two, going to be repeatable. Because you want other people to talk about it. That's part of creating that brand, is you need your clients to create prospects for you, and they're not going to get all of that right. You know, no matter how accurate it is and how good we think the name is, there's no way a client is going to remember all of those words that create that brand and be able to repeat it to somebody else. So that's my criticism, but the thought process is there, and I appreciate the effort for him to redeem himself from last week. So this week I got an interesting phone call. Yeah, it was a call from somebody that I have really come to respect going through this process. It's somebody that I felt like really applied themselves and pushed hard, pushed themselves to get out of their comfort zone, and really just put themselves out there when many people wouldn't. I'm sorry to announce that Joseph Bustos has elected to leave the Protege competition. I feel like he brought an element of humor. While we weren't necessarily laughing at him, he brought a smile to our face because we knew that this guy was the little engine that could. But there's a silver lining in that cloud. The reason why Joseph left is because he found so much value in what he was learning going through the Protege that he went back to his boss and he told him, we need to join Killing Commercial. So Joseph just said, you know what? I need this sooner than later in my life. And his agency has claimed the New Mexico territory for killing commercial, and I couldn't be happier. I love this guy. He is infectious, and I'm glad that he's going to be around for a long time to come. I'm sorry that we're not going to get to see how things play out for him, but what I do know is now that I'm behind him 110% in the real world, this guy's going to absolutely crush it, because with his work ethic and my ability to see things from a high level, having been there, done that, I'm going to keep him on the straight and narrow and ultimately help him change his family tree for the next several generations. Joseph, I'm sorry you're leaving the Protege, brother, but welcome to the family. You're officially a cold-blooded killer. This has been an interesting exercise for me. I always feel like I'm somebody who communicates fairly clearly, but then I find that maybe that's not the case, or maybe half the people out there just communicate differently than I do. But what I found going through this process is that we're right back where we were, a couple weeks ago, and even last week. Half the people nailed it, the other half didn't. And maybe that's just the way that it is in real life, but I want to make sure that everybody out there understands. I am not a huge proponent if you're a Main Street agency, or you're an agency that's got its own brand. I don't like that. I don't want people to have their processes branded as the agency. And part of the reason why is because you're going to be competing against ultra powerful national brands in some cases when you're operating in the middle market. I've always found that it's much more powerful to brand the process that you're going to use and then throw in the powered by. I gave you some examples in my review of the different contestants' submissions, but that's what I would challenge you to do. If you're moving into the middle market, if you're a Main Street agency, or you're somebody who's only dabbled to this point, figure out what it is you're going to specialize in. Figure out the value proposition and what you're going to deliver and what you're going to represent at the point of sale and what you're ultimately going to execute once this person becomes your client. But then figure out a way for you to brand it so they can touch it and feel it. Come up with the colors, the logo. What does it mean? What's going to be your elevator pitch? And we may get to that in a couple challenges, but that's where I want you to go, because that's what you need to do to be successful on the streets. Branding isn't easy if you're not a creative person to begin with. It happens to be something I'm somewhat passionate about. I mean, if you've ever seen me in dress attire, you'll know that I'm typically wearing gold and blue of some sort because I am my brand. And that's what my challenge is to anybody out there. As you go through this process, as you create a process, and as you brand that process, you need to be your brand. I hope everybody is having a great time watching this series, and I can't wait to see how many of you come up with awesome brands for your processes, and I really hope you'll send them to me so I can see them. That would make my day. Next week on the Protege. So this challenge is going to sound like it's simple for you, but I'm going to judge this one hard.
Step outside that box.
You guys should try it at home.
What's crazy is
I saw it firsthand. It really works.
You need to be natural.
Or have heard of Bradley. I don't really know him. I got to know him a little bit through this, but yeah, Josh kind of came out. I don't even know the name of their team. It's so unforgettable, the two of them. I mean, was it like Flower Power or something like that? I don't even think that's even close. That's the only thing I could think of, the Flower Power guys. But yeah,
Is that what it is?
No, I don't even know what it is.
I thought they were some sort of Georgia, Kentucky line, something like they were trying to be like 8 Mile Eminem tough or something.
Oh yeah.